This Viewfinder episode is supported by UC Davis Health, transforming the future of healthcare.
Beyond scientific research and technology, medicine is now exploring other paths. From music,
in my opinion, I think music therapy is a critical part of every patient's treatment.
to the simple act of human touch, to utilizing the amazing bond between humans and animals.
There's this super important relationship that can help healing. It's incredibly powerful.
We have to look beyond just medicines. We have to look at the patient as a whole.
For the newborns in the neonatal intensive care unit at UC Davis Children's Hospital, Rockabye Baby is more than just a healing melody. It's also a cuddling lifeline, essential for their survival and development.
We take care of lots of babies, both babies that are born prematurely as well as sick neonates. One of the most important things in terms of maximizing outcomes for infants is to really look at how we're treating them in a developmental sense. As medicine really progressed in previous decades and we had more and more technology, there was a real focus on that technology, and rightfully so. And now that some of those technologies are well established, we're starting to think about other ways to really improve the outcomes of the babies that we take care of. When I think about cuddling as an intervention, the benefits that that provides the infant really have to do with being able to help the infant maintain a state of calm and a state of comfort. And those things are very important for the development moving forward. And so we see that babies that are being cuddled have changes in their physiology that are measurable, and there have been studies that show that. Babies tend to have lower heart rates than their counterparts. They often have less need for oxygen requirement, and over the long term tend to eat better and grow better than counterparts that don't get cuddling.
Let me see. Let me see. Ah, there he is. Yeah.
There are studies that have shown that even babies that are cuddled as compared to babies that don't grow better than their counterparts and have better outcomes later in life.
Oh my goodness! You got teeth already?
Communication with parents is one of the most important parts of my job. I really see parents as partners in helping take care of their children when they're in the NICU, and that communication is so important for them in terms of understanding what's happening with their babies. You know, it's not always the easiest thing to think about when a baby has tubes and lines and other things. It's hard sometimes for the parents to feel like parents. So we really try to get them to be an active participant in their baby's care.
Music is a healing force of the universe, and it provides a common language for people from all parts of the world and all cultures to form a common bond.
You may do a double take as you come upon a music therapist walking down the halls of the Sutter Women's and Children's Hospital.
Seeing me around with the guitar on my back, I got a lot of people looking to see what is that, or or people being curious and saying oh, do you sing to the babies? When I first walk into a room with a patient, most of the time I've already had a little bit of background from other staff members. What happens a lot is that them being so fragile at such a young age, there's all these cords sticking out of them that really makes the parents kind of hesitant to work with them.
The music therapist in the NICU is charged with teaching the parents how to relate to their babies, their precious babies.
So the music therapist helps them begin to experience control and see success in their child's progress.
What I'm teaching them to do is to support their child's neurodevelopment and achievement of their developmental milestones. We want them to be responding positively to their environment. So that will include not reacting to stimulation, but instead seeking and exploring stimulation. The more that they're using their brain to understand the environment, the more that the different sections of their brain that are growing can kind of start to allot to their function, and using music that's simple enough that it's not alarming to the baby. So if the child doesn't make it through the entire progression, that's something I'll take a note of. This is a crucial time where they're supposed to be building the structures of their brain that they'll be using for the rest of their life. Is she dancing?
We have an excellent team of music therapists that are highly skilled in music performance, psychology, assessing patients' needs, working with the clinical team. They are definitely an integral part of the interdisciplinary team here at Sutter.
In addition to the one-on-one sessions, both patients in the hospital and outpatients have the opportunity to experience music therapy in a space called Sophie's Place here at Sutter Women's and Children's Hospital.
I have a whole tornado of medical stuff going on in my head, and when I come here, I can just be myself.
Sophie's Place has a really special place in our hearts. I remember the very first time we experienced music therapy, and Emily must have been 4 years old. The therapist came in with her big cart full of instruments, and it was just like, for that instant, it was everything else is suspended.
There's so much that happens in a hospital that is focused on the child's diagnosis and disease process. But sometimes what gets lost in the shuffle in all of that is the child's overall well-being. How are they coping with the emotions and the stress that the treatment, the medicine, the disease might be causing them? As a music therapist, I like to think that I tap into that real basic enjoyment of music, and we take it a step further with the therapeutic relationship. One of the biggest objectives in music therapy is giving patients a sense of autonomy, or giving them control. There's so many things in a hospital that a patient can't control.
One of the things that's also lost when you're in the hospital a lot is a certain amount of milestones in your life, right? You know, there are things that are set by holidays and things that we've accomplished, right? And those are things that people take for granted. We don't really have those things. Our days are not marked by those things. I think the music just sort of softens the edges of the trauma.
Sometimes those little moments are things that really transform the perception of their hospital stay. In my opinion, I think music therapy is a critical part of every patient's treatment here.
And I think it aids in the repair process of everything. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I can see it. And the music therapists know it's working, the parents know it's working, so I know it's working.
One of the most important things to remember is that nobody has to be musical or have a specific talent or skill in music to benefit or participate in music therapy. If you're human, you can participate.
Music and memory go hand in hand. Music can meet you where you are. It can be a pathway to reestablish or reacquire memories and movement that may have been lost over time due to conditions like Parkinson's, dementia, and Alzheimer's. Researchers are now starting to track the mind-music connection through the California Association of Healthcare Facilities and UC Davis Music and Memory Program.
I think there's an increasing recognition now, for example, that people maintain a strong connection with music throughout their lifetimes. There's really good evidence now that music remains a really important aspect of people's lives.
We were approached by the California Association of Healthcare Facilities to participate with them in an effort here in the state of California to get the music and memory program started in a number of nursing homes. And so what we're doing with this is to see, first of all, how are the patients who are getting exposed to this music, how are they reacting to it? What's unique and wonderful about the Music and Memory program is that after you get it set up, so you've got personalized music for that person.
You want to listen to your music?
It takes very little on the part of the staff to actually allow that patient to put the music on and then to listen to it.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing to watch the difference it has made in people's lives.
You know, there's no doubt that music plays an important role in helping to reduce anxiety before procedures or helping to calm a person. And music is being increasingly used for example, with Parkinson's patients to help them move more fluidly or to help them be able to initiate movements, to help them improve their gait, right, their stride length, things like that. Another place is in speech rehabilitation following stroke.
It's also become more routine for the nurses to look for an alternative first. Find something, try everything first before you start with a medication. That doesn't mean that medication's not important. It's critically important as part of what we may need to do to help somebody to be healthier. But I think it's, we do have some focus on, are there alternatives to that? Are there things that we can do first before we start that medication? Or can we start the medication knowing that we're going to do these other things that may improve somebody's condition? I don't think it would be realistic to say something like music is going to cure all things. But it can have an effect, and it can lead to us minimizing the use of medications. And it is about understanding the balance between that, because no one wants to see people drugged. It's about their quality of life.
Whether music therapy treats the whole self or symptoms, I think really, again, depends on what you're trying to treat.
I feel like this.
To the extent that music helps to set the tone for the broader well-being of a patient, then I think it's incredibly important.
It won't be long before I need somebody to lean on.
Kathy Montgomery and her dog Mick have an important job to do today. Kathy is in charge of Sutter Hospital's pet therapy program.
Sutter's Paws on Call is a group of volunteers. We have about 20 to 25 volunteer dogs. And our job is to come around and visit with patients. Okay, in we go. Hello.
Oh, hi.
We're not walking in when we come in with these dogs and asking them how they're feeling. We're not coming in with needles. We're not wearing a white coat. We're just there.
Hi there. It takes my mind off my back and the other pains that are going on. Bringing happiness to everybody you visit, aren't you? For some reason, it just kind of goes away for a brief moment.
We know that what we're delivering is important. It's the stress relief. It's just breaking up that moment.
Yes.
Hi there. Hi. This is Mickey.
Hi, Mickey.
We get the same comments from nurses that we get from patients, and the nurse will say, I so needed this today. They may have lost a patient, and then here come the dogs. So it's just as much, absolutely just as much for the staff.
Not only do I feel like they're making a difference, they are making a difference. It provides patients with a sense of what is normal, and that makes all the difference in the world to a person.
So good to see you.
So much of how we engage with patients is foreign and unfamiliar and frightening, and I think patients appreciate a moment when they can see a friendly face at the end of the leash.
It's very heartwarming, and it just makes you happier.
I've been humbled by seeing some of these very simple moments be super ultra meaningful.
I don't have words to explain.
Being a good boy.
It means a lot to me.
At the end of the day, we recognize there's this super important relationship that can help healing. It's incredibly powerful.
So are the dogs indeed a powerful form of medicine? Researchers at UC Davis are trying to answer that very question. They're part of a nationwide study seeking concrete evidence that a dog's presence does have a positive and observable impact on a patient's physical and emotional well-being.
Angus, this is Fabian. Say hi.
Pediatric oncologist Dr. Anjali Pawar is one of the lead physicians for the study at UC Davis.
Statistics depend on cold numbers, but we have seen with our own eyes the difference these canines made.
Feeling better now.
It helps with the stress. Absolutely, it helps with the stress.
A group of children who were recently diagnosed with cancer were at the center of the study. Dr. Pawar and her team measured the effectiveness of the therapy dogs by testing the young patient's stress levels.
What we did was get their baseline monitors like heart rate, blood pressure before the visit and after the visit. Then, depending on the age of the child, if the child was 12 years and older, they answered a questionnaire.
Not only were the children tested, but so were the dogs provided by volunteers at Lend a Heart, another volunteer pet therapy program. They collected saliva samples from the dogs, and the samples were then tested for the stress hormone, cortisol. Final data is still being collected, but if the results end up showing a clear benefit to both dogs and children, the hope is that it will pave the way for a wider use of therapy dogs in hospitals.
I wish it convinces our institution to have dogs in a cancer center on a regular basis instead of just once in a while.
Ultimately, Dr. Pawar believes exploring the human-animal bond is a crucial path in helping patients heal.
I think this trial, Canines in Childhood Cancer, is a small step towards providing something besides the pharmaceuticals. We have to look beyond just medicines. We have to look at the patient as a whole. So making any part of their life less stressful, I think we should definitely focus on it. And that means getting the dogs to help us out. We should go for it.
It's common for people to confuse therapy dogs with service dogs, but there is a distinct difference between the two. Therapy dogs are typically someone's pet, and their job is to provide comfort to people where they are invited, such as a hospital. Service dogs, on the other hand, are highly trained to perform specific tasks for people who live with a disability.
Nice job.
I'm astonished by how much they do for you as an animal. I mean, it's something that I've never experienced before.
At age 17, Darren Pete's life changed suddenly and forever when he broke his neck in a swimming accident.
Considering that I'm in a wheelchair, I have lived a pretty normal life, I guess you would say. You know, my perspective was, no, life's not over. There's still, you know, you're here for a purpose and you're still here to do something.
He married his college sweetheart, Lorena, and before long they adopted their daughter, Sarah, and son, Adam.
And at that point, with my son who has special needs, I said, you know something, not only could the dog help me, but it could help my son. My first service dog was Robus. Now that he's retired, he's a little more relaxed. Now Robus can kick back and say, okay, you young whippersnapper, you can go work with him. I'm going to sit here and sleep a little longer. So now I have Rex, and Rex is 2 years old. He has a real lovable heart. He wants to please people. He cracks me up because he's always looking around, trying to figure out, okay, you want me to do this? You want me to do this? What do you want me to do? Whereas Robus was like, hey, I know what I'm doing. Just give me the command, I'll do it. After working with a dog for 9 years, I knew him, he knew me. He knew what to do. I knew how to work with him. So I'm learning all that now with Rex. Rex, Doug, come on, you do it. Good boy. They're with you, you know, 24/7. Push. Come on, you do it. Every day that I go to work, I take Rex with me. It's Mr. Pete's and Rex, you know. Before it was Mr. Pete's and Robus, but now it's Mr. Pete's and Rex. Usually I have the kids help me, or I have the parents help me, or my instructional assistant. But when they're gone, who do I have? I have Rex. When I come on in the morning and get everything all set up, if I'm dropping stuff on the ground, he's there to help me out. He usually goes to his bed and he's relaxing, just taking it easy until reading time. They love to sit there and just share a book with him. And Rex will just sit there quietly and just listen to them. So he really encourages the kids to get a book and read.
Look at that, monkey up a tree, monkey on the garden.
For me, a dog is great to be able to help me when I'm out there, whether at work or whether I'm out there in society. Rex, give, good boy. There's also that other part that a dog provides. That is much more emotional. For Adam, I remember the day where he told me that Robus was his best friend. And that was very encouraging for me. It told me that, we got the right dog to not only help me, but also to help my son. Now that I see all the things that a dog can do for you, not only physically, but also emotionally. Good boy, look at that. No, I can't see my life without a dog.
Dogs aren't the only kind of four-legged friends enhancing the lives of people living with a physical disability or with special needs.
There's something about the horses that do heal. I really believe if they could take on your burdens and your troubles and your pain, they would.
These horses are part of a therapeutic riding program in Auburn, California called Horses for Healing.
We're a therapeutic riding center for adults and children with special needs.
Our quote for Horses for Healing is changing lives one ride at a time, and exactly what it is. We put them on the horse and they become a different person.
Diana Welsh's daughter, Sedona, has been in the saddle since she was 3 years old.
Yay, good job!
She's had a lot of traditional therapies like physical therapy throughout the years, but without horseback riding, she wouldn't be where she's at today.
Chin, push, push, push.
She's 10 years old now. She's autistic. She's also nonverbal. And she has low muscle tone, so she was a very late walker. She didn't walk until she was around 5 independently. She's so much more comfortable with movement now. And I think a lot of that is riding a horse and having her do different positions on the horse. She can, move her hands and figure out, okay, I need to put my hand here in order to swing my leg over. If you knew her 5 years ago, you'd be absolutely amazed.
You did it! Very good. You did it! Nice job.
People say, oh, you're just sitting on a horse. Oh, yeah. But anybody who's a rider will tell you, you do not just sit on a horse. If you just sit on the horse, you're not going to be sitting there very long. You have to work to stay on a horse.
Dr. Christine Korn knows firsthand the positive effects a horse can have on children like Sedona. Not only is she the founder of another therapeutic riding program called Ride to Walk, she's also a licensed physical therapist specializing in pediatrics.
We're working to get him ready for horseback riding. See how straight he's sitting? They're building strength. They're building postural control. They're building stability and strength in their arms and their legs. So they are working very hard.
For Meyer Zumwalt, who has cerebral palsy, being on the horse makes him feel like he's walking.
The way the horse moves, it simulates our walking. And so in his hips and in his pelvis, he's getting that benefit as if he were walking.
When you create new abilities. What happens is self-esteem begins to build. They come across totally different. And so it opens up life for them. You know, they all have ways that they can start coming out if you give them that opportunity to be who they are.
Meyer loves it. He absolutely loves it. It gives him a sense of self-worth and pride. He sees himself as a cowboy. His face just shines because it is pure joy.
You can just see the pride on her face, and it just kills you. You know, it's priceless.
Yay! Good job, yeah.
When you're looking at alternative therapies, whether on a horse or music, I think the engagement is richer.
You're really touching the soul, and in that sense, I think that affects our broader well-being.
It's not a medication, it's not a liquid, it's not a pill. What that magic juice is, I have no idea, but wish I could bottle it.
This Viewfinder episode is supported by UC Davis Health, transforming the future of healthcare.